top teams, right out in front, Liverpool, who are almost breaking the scale. 2.39 is what they're tracking as expected goals per game, which is the most of any Liverpool team since this data has been recorded in the last 10, 12 years. So then we come back to the pack. Chelsea, his attack is performing very well, as we've talked about already. And we've got Arsenal and Spurs here. Now, Arsenal actually 6th when it comes for expected goals in the Premier League this season. So let's talk about some of the reasons why that might be, Jamie. And we've looked about the direction of their attacks. So significantly, you've got Chelsea and Bournemouth, second and third best attacks in the Premier League, that both have a high percentage of their chances created through the middle third of the pitch. Liverpool, incidentally, are 9th. They've got a pretty fairly even split across all three of the sectors, left, centre and right. Arsenal right down here, Jamie. So what is this telling us, the fact that they have such a relatively low percentage of chances created through the middle third of the pitch?
I think it's telling us a few things, in that basically Arsenal prefer going down the sides of teams. Now, when you think of breaking down a low block, you can go round them or you can go through them. Now, Arsenal are choosing to go round them and they're getting success, the 2 goals at the weekend. And also, I think there's something in that. Do they go wide and actually play for corners? I mean, why wouldn't you? Great success from corners. But I also think of the profile of player. They only really have Odegaard who can get between the lines and on the ball. And when we actually look at the clips, I think he's got to do that a lot more. But in terms of the players that they brought in, Moreno on that left side, I don't think he gives them anything really between the lines. So just going to have a little look and analyse where they can improve, because that's where Liverpool are much better than them in terms of attacking-wise. Now, this is against Newcastle. And we're just seeing this sort of lots of times within games. So Partey's on the ball. You see him. He's actually looking. He's looking for a pass in here. These spaces here, players between the lines. He's got his right hand out, looking to try and play it in here. It doesn't happen. Again, look at this man. Martin Odegaard. He's the man you want in these positions. Look, he's always on the outside of it, looking in. So it comes back again now. Timber goes inside. Again, there's nobody here in these spaces. It's almost like a horseshoe here. Everyone almost, you go all the way from this side, Tross side, I think it's Martinelli on the far side, with actually all these players are actually on the outside looking in. There's no one here. There's no one here to bounce off. Martin Odegaard has got to be braver and stay in these positions. It gets recycled over to the other side, comes to Declan Rice. Again, he's looking for a pass again. But again, nothing in here. No one to combine with. They're always looking to go on the outside. And as I said, they've had great success with that. But in terms of maybe getting to the numbers Liverpool are, they've got to have players here. This is at the weekend. This is against Aston Villa. Odegaard, exactly where you'd want him. Moreno there. These high number 8s in the pockets. He's dragging a defender with him. Moreno's in. As the ball then comes across, Moreno here. He goes onto the last line. Odegaard does the same. So again, where there's nobody here. So again, you're in a situation where there's nobody here. There's nobody in these spaces. Odegaard's got to stay here at times. Moreno in these places. Drag people out of position and play through teams. This time, again, with the quality, brilliant from Trossard. They go in these positions. He's actually outside of the block looking to pass. But you've got Sterling who's come on. You've got Havertz, and then you've got Moreno there, all looking to run in behind. No one actually looking to combine and get into these half spaces here. So the ball goes wide now. Now, there's one man I do want to mention who could maybe help this. As this ball comes to Odegaard, Lewis Skelly, who I think is an absolute star, and he's doing that inverting position that we saw Zinchenko do very successfully with the ball a couple of years ago. But he actually gets himself now in this half space. And this is what they need more of. So he could be the man from left-back doing this. Look at this pass now. That's what Arsenal need more of. These intricate passes. Trossard almost wins the game. It may have been offside, but that is an idea of what they want. Now, I'm looking at Odegaard because I'm looking at him taking up positions that I think he's got to be brave. He's got to have more courage to stay in there. So you look at these seasons. They actually just, let's look at the touches. There's no real difference in the touches from 3 or 4 years ago. Percentage of touches on the flanks. You can see, again, pretty normal. And then you get here. That's a big jump. That is a really big jump. And we've just shown highlights there to sort of highlight that, some of the clips in that. When I think of David Silva, the greatest thing about David Silva, who's a similar sort of player, was that he always stayed between the lines. He might get less touches, but in those tight, intricate spaces, he'd be there and he'd play that little pass. Odegaard, for me, is taking the safe option. When he's coming outside of the block, he might get a bit of free time and keep the ball. But he's got to stay in there. Now, that's on the right side. On the left side, they haven't got that profile of player. And that's where Lewis Skelly's got to come in. He's got to keep inverting and keep getting into those high number 8 positions and maybe play the pass, because Declan Rice can't do it from there, Havertz can't do it from there, and Moreno can't do it from there.
Is this going to stop them winning the title, Manu?
Well, I understand what Jamie has just said, but I think actually Arteta has a plan, you know, and you can see that the players respond very well with the plan and they stick with it. And they play on the wide area, and this is one of them. But do you think they have the profile of the player, except Odegaard? Probably Caragher, we can, you know, drop.
No, and that's my point. I don't think
so. That's why they stick with the plan.
Of course. But what I'm saying is, then so many of your attacks they become predictable. Eventually, that you've only got one way of going around.
It works because in one game they score goals and they create chances.
But
expected
my
goals.
point being is, defensively, Arsenal and Liverpool are pretty similar. I think Arsenal probably got the edge defensively. But when you look at those numbers of the XG and the goals Liverpool have scored, they're a long way above Arsenal. So my point is, they need to add this to the game as well as getting on the outside of teams if they're going to match Liverpool and win the title.
Okay, on the table you've shown, you know, where are Liverpool actually?
Ninth.
Where are they on the table?
Top.
So you agree with me?
And they're 6 points clear.
So, I mean, okay.
They're 6 points clear with a game in hand. So are we saying the title race is over right now?
I know that you will disagree with me, but I'm pretty sure because by experience I know that. You know, we've done it in 1998, and we've seen that this season again with Manchester City. You know, they were fighting, you know, for the best position, and they dropped. Chelsea as well. They were second for weeks as well. So things go so fast in the Premier League.
This was an extraordinary sequence of results that you just referenced.
We had this discussion with Jamie before, and he said to me, with all the striker you have in Arsenal, you cannot win the Premier League. I disagree with that, because they're not far from Liverpool by scoring goals. Liverpool have 50 goals, Arsenal have 43. They are almost the same in terms of defense, 20 and 21, which means the difference is not that huge. It's the points they drop when they are under controls in games, just like what happened against Newcastle, for example.
On this run, because you were keeping clean sheets, you were winning games by the
odd goal. Yeah, but how many times we won 1-0?
Yeah, but you won 15 of the last 18, which took you all the way to the title, which was an extraordinary achievement.
Consistency in performances and results is the most important things, you know, if you want to win the Premier League.
So the question is, can this Arsenal team do it?
Yes.
Recent history tells us it's a possibility. This was last season.
I'll tell you
Manu.
why. Because
they won 16 of the last 18 last season.
Big games are coming back, you know, with the Champions League. Liverpool and other teams, you know, are dealing with so many competitions. Arsenal, they have so many injured players. They're going to be back soon, and top players as well. So they're going to be fresh. They are out, you know, on almost the 2 national cups, you know. So there will be only concentrate on the Champions League and as well on the Premier League. And on top of it, in February, there will be already, you know, just like Liverpool, qualified for the next one in the Champions League. So they will make a turnover as well. So there is so many reasons as well, because Liverpool
I'll give you
are not that well.
Three reasons
and Liverpool
why
are not that well, you know, the last few weeks. They're conceding goals all the time. They're not that confident. I think you're too confident, Jamie.
They had Overmars, Anelka and Dennis Bergkamp. This team at the moment is playing with Martinelli, Trossard and Havertz. That's
at the moment, but players are Jamie. And you know by experience that the Premier League goes so fast, you know, so
all right.
It's a long way to go, you know.
We've got to get to a break. We've got to get to a break because we're watching Manu's other